Are you a seven-figure practice owner that wants to do more without burning out? Join us for the Seven-Figure Practice Retreat, a luxury mastermind where high-level practice owners step away from the day-to-day to build systems, strategy, and freedom in the Dominican Republic. This February, spots are limited, so apply now, and our sponsors are covering 95% of the cost over at practiceofthepractice.com/7. Again, that's practiceofthepractice.com/7. This is the Practice of the Practice podcast with Joe Santa, session number 1275. Welcome to the Practice of the Practice podcast. I am Joe Sanok, your host, where we help you build a thriving private practice you absolutely love. We are so excited to have you here today, hanging out with us. Now, back in May of 2025, we put on the Group Practice Conference. And at this conference, I had this dream of putting on a conference that was unlike any other. I wanted the feeling to be like connections, that people had time to meet each other. I always hated conferences where the parts that I love the most, probably getting dinner with new people or having drinks at the end of the evening, that part was so small in the calendar. And I spent most of my time just running between breakout sessions and keynotes and all of that. And the other side of it was oftentimes it felt like I would be in a session and it'd be a 90-minute session. And I really only got about 10 to 20 minutes worth of content. There's a lot of fluff in there. It just felt like get to the point. And so for what we decided to do with the Group Practice Conference was we decided that we would have 20-minute sessions on the main stage, all of our keynotes, 20 minutes, and that we would have ample time for breakout sessions, and to have time to dig in, to talk about group practice, to get to know people, and to encourage people that if they're having a great conversation, keep that going. You don't have to come back in. Continue those conversations going. And so we found that the folks that came to the Group Practice Conference in May had such a great time. They felt emotionally connected to other group practice owners. And it was just such a great event that we've tripled the size for May of 2026. We're going to be over at Northwestern Michigan College, right on their campus. And we're partnering with both Headway and the Student Life Department to put this on. And our main stage is going to be where the actual TED Talks of Traverse City take place. And then all of our discussions and our kind of digging deeper sessions are going to be throughout an art gallery. It's going to be just such a fun, unique event that we're super excited about. And lots of you weren't able to make the Group Practice Conference in 2025. And so we want to give you just a little glimpse into that. So we're going to be doing a series every week for a while throughout the end of the year where those 20-minute main stage sessions, we're going to be playing those for you. We want you to be able to learn from all of our speakers that we had, and we want you to get excited for the Group Practice Conference in May 2026. So we want you to get excited for this over at grouppracticeconference.com. That's where you can be on the waiting list so that when tickets go live on Black Friday through Cyber Monday, you can grab your ticket. We want you to get those discounts that we have. We want you to get any of those kind of lowest priced tickets. We know they're going to sell out fast. All of our sponsors have committed to sending emails to their list. And, Headway alone, who is our co-host of this, along with the Student Life Department over at NMC, has 60,000 people on their email list that are part of Headway. So we expect the 300 or so tickets that we're offering to go quickly. So if this is something that you're interested in coming to Traverse City, we want to make sure you're on that wait list and ready to go on Black Friday so that you can get your ticket. We know they're going to go quickly. So head on over to grouppracticeconference.com and you can watch all the different things going on there and get on the wait list so that when that goes live, you get first access. So let's dive into this episode with some of our speakers from the Group Practice Conference in May 2025. We have Daniel coming up here in just a second. He's going to be talking about balancing the many hats of being a business owner. So without any further ado, I give you Daniel. Woo!
Oh, here's the clicker. Thank you. So how many people in here are ready to admit that they failed before? Yeah, it's just about everyone. Failure is part of life. But most of you, actually all of you, are far from failures. Out of every 100 applicants to a therapy graduate program, only 40 are accepted. 28 graduate, and 13 open their private practice. And just one out of 100 opens a group practice. So everyone here deserves to be here. So give yourselves a round of applause. I also have a group practice. We have about 20 clinicians, a couple admins. It's a very exciting time to be alive. And never more has the idiom, if I can do it, you can do it, been more true. I wasn't always the boss man. Not too long ago, I was a starving artist in LA. I wanted to be a Broadway star. And I don't know if you know this, but auditions, they're not the most lucrative of things. So I was broke. And in a city like LA, they treat you like dirt when you don't have money. I think the worst part is they look at you like dirt. So I don't know what it was first, the severe depression or the missed rent, but I had to move back in with my mom. Classic failure to launch. My first major life failure. But then a few community college credits later, I joined the Air Force Reserve Officer Training Program at the University of Washington. And there I witnessed a strict culture, stricter rules, and a passion for efficiency. The men and women of the United States military, they truly excel at the execution of duty. And I have nothing but respect for our troops. It was an honor to march within their ranks, to be part of something bigger than myself. But it turns out aeronautical engineering and differential calculus are actually quite hard. So I failed at that too. My second life failure. And my respect for any engineers out in the crowd. I think it's amazing what you do. But then I was on my way to becoming a therapist. I landed a good job. I was getting paid a decent salary. I was seeing clients. But I rubbed my manager the wrong way. I think they were more of a task manager, and I was more of a theorist. So I was gracefully resigned 3 months later. You will meet failure. But the good news is opening a private practice and a group practice, it's easier than you think. Well, it's easier than aeronautical engineering. You just have to remember this one thing. The one trick that you need to be a successful group practice owner is simply be a good CFO, CEO, founder, legal liaison, lead interior designer, lead web designer, facilities director, social media manager, event coordinator, crisis manager, intake specialist, insurance balance specialist, HR director, chief marketing officer, public speaker, and always a good person. Okay, it's not that easy, but you can do it, but you can't do it all. You got to learn to pick your battles. When I was in high school, I was in band, and I played the trumpet. And right on theme, I failed at that too. I was horrible at it. But at least I got to talk to the color guard, because the cutest girls are always in color guard. But band means band camp. And at band camp, I learned I was the class champion at a fast slapping card game called Egyptian Rat. It goes by different names. Egyptian Rat Screw. Somebody know what I'm talking about over here? Yeah, Egyptian Rat Flap. Okay, some people call it Rat Killer. Egyptian War. It has like 50 names. Some people think it's Slapjack. It's not Slapjack, trust me. How many have played this game before? Oh, okay. Okay, what's up? Find me afterwards. Let's do a tournament. If you don't know the game, the rules are a little bit complex, but you just need to know the royal point system. If I draw an ace, that gives my opponent 4 chances to beat me. If I draw a king, it gives my opponent 3 chances to beat me. If I draw a queen, it gives my opponent 2 chances to beat me. But if I draw a jack, it gives my opponent just 1 chance to beat me. So naturally, the jacks are the most valuable card in the game. And if a jack lands on another jack, you can slap it at any time for a double win. And that's how I won. Every single time. You can tell the new players because they'll celebrate over a pair of aces. But when the real pros got together, we'd look at a pair of aces and we'd think, do you want those? And I'd say, no, I think you need them more than I do. It's about high impact priorities. That's how you balance the hats. But what's more, you have to turn on your laser focus, because if there's anything you're going to slap, it's going to be that jack. So now you know the secret. Your mind has a limited energy every day of psychic energy. Roy Baumeister proved this in his 1990s experiment. He put 2 groups in a room. And in that room, there was a table. And on that table, there was some cookies and some radishes. And he told one group, you mustn't eat the cookies. They're reserved for another group. And the other group, free reign on the cookies. They could eat as many as they like. He then gave them a puzzle. And the puzzle was unsolvable. Of course, they didn't know it was unsolvable, but the real test was to see how long they would take before giving up. And the radish group gave up much sooner than the cookies group. Not because they were worse at puzzles, but because they had depleted their psychic energy resisting the freshly baked, delicious chocolate chip cookie. In essence, they wasted time slapping aces. Your energy is finite. Pick your battles, eat the cookie, and slap the jack. Which begs the question, what are your company's jack cards? I can't tell you what your company's jack cards are, but I can give you a compass based on my experience that might help you navigate the troubling waters of entrepreneurship. Be authentic, take care of your people, be bold, and have grit.
Do you want to expand your private pay caseload? Check out Thrizer. Thrizer helps clients better navigate their out-of-network benefits and takes the entire burden of insurance off of them. That means no more super bills, no more insurance calls, and the best part, no more long reimbursement waits. Chances are you're providing a super bill to your clients. Super bills can be extremely overwhelming and challenging for your clients to navigate, let alone needing to wait months for that reimbursement check. Thrizer provides automatic claim submissions, manages claims end-to-end, and the best part, allows clients to just pay a copay for your session, while Thriver covers the rest of your rate up front and waits for the reimbursement on your client's behalf. This is called Thrizer Pay and is already helping thousands of clients access therapy without needing to be out hundreds of dollars while waiting for reimbursement. It's the best way to make your services more accessible and increase your private pay caseload, hands down. Use the promo code POTP for a free trial. That's POTP, Practice of the Practice, POTP. You'll receive waived credit card fees for your first $2,500 in charges.
Time to thrive with Thrizer. Head over to join.thrizer.com/Joe.
Again, that's
join.thrizer.com/Joe.
Now let's talk about some of the more exciting hats you get to wear as a business owner. I'm talking the CEO hat, the CFO hat, the COO hat, the business executive leadership hats, the boss hats. Now as a business executive, the guiding question is always, what is best for the company? And 9 times out of 10, that's going to be taking care of your people. Simon Sinek said 100% of customers are people, 100% of employees are people. If you don't understand people, you don't understand business. I tend to agree with him. Howard Schultz, Starbucks CEO, said we're not in the coffee business serving people, but in the people business serving coffee. And Steve Jobs, who can forget about Steve Jobs? Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people. Okay, admittedly, taking care of your people doesn't mean taking care of everyone, because not everyone's your people. As a CEO, I've had an employee not show up to work, stop answering emails, text messages. They quite literally ghosted the company. I've had an employee offer me Molly and cocaine. Some people are not your people. But most people can surprise you if you give them a chance. I had an employee who had multiple complaints in a week, which is surprising because most of my employees don't have any complaints. So my first instinct was to fire her. And this was the first time I had to consider firing somebody. But after a long consultation with my personal business coach and consultant, a.k.a. my dad, I decided to use patience. I heard them out, and what I heard was pretty life-debilitating circumstances. Life hits hard sometimes. So I gave them some PTO and told them to take it easy. And today that employee is my longest-standing, most reliable clinician who delivers quality care every single week. If you practice compassion, it usually pays off, usually. But we have to take care of our employees in concrete ways as well. So let's talk about money. I know it's not everyone's favorite conversation, but we have to talk about it. Where does the money go? What percent goes where? How much do we pay our employees? To answer these kinds of questions, we have to stand on the shoulders of giants. And one such giant is Costco, who offers a valuable lesson for all of us in business administration. Fair compensation and wages. Hear me out. Fair compensation is not just an ethically sound choice, it's a strategic one. It saves on administration time, hiring stress, hiring costs, and the endless cycle. I know a lot of it's automated now, but the endless cycle of training new clinicians. Because finding great clinicians and keeping them is one of the biggest challenges for any new company learning to grow. You could pay someone the most generous salary in the industry, and still they might think it's too low. I learned this firsthand. As a CFO and an HR, as a head of HR, your job isn't just about making the financial decisions. It's about explaining them. Because a good company broadcasts why they're better than the competition. Otherwise, it's not until after the employee quits and that they see their first COBRA bill that they realize how much the company was paying on their behalf. So I keep a detailed budget. I run the numbers. I know every cent that goes in and out of the system, and I make sure that my employees know theirs. This clarity becomes my armor during tough financial conversations. For example, I had an employee that was caught in an email back and forth with me and my administrators about their pay. There was some miscalculated income. There was a mistake on Paychex's part. There was a mistake on my part, and that didn't help things. And despite our attempts to clarify and rectify, things got messy. And when things get messy around money, it's really hard to repair. But even then, I remembered. I knew my worth. I knew my numbers. I knew my business. I knew I was doing everything in my power to pay them a salary that was above market average. And that clear conscience and confidence allowed us to reach a resolution. Okay, we did it. Everyone take a breath. We got through the money talk. I'm proud of us. Now I invite you, if you so choose, to imagine you're on a beach, okay? And the sand is beneath your toes, and you see the blue skies and the of the waves, and suddenly you're struck by the most gorgeous human you've ever met. And you're thinking, dang, what I would do if I had a chance to show them all of my Gottman skills to cultivate a long-lasting relationship full of admiration and respect. Whew. Your dialogue might be a little different, but your anxiety spikes, and you get in your head, and you talk yourself out of it, and you go back to your hotel room. Missed out an opportunity that could have been one of a lifetime. This sound familiar? Let's change the narrative. Because this year is a year for boldness. Okay? You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. You can't be part of the 1% if you don't take the first step. You can't cultivate relationships you don't start. So as the great goddess Nike once said, just do it. Do it! Just do it! Okay. For people who don't know that reference, I probably looked a little crazy, so thanks for your... I love Shia LaBeouf. He's great. Look him up. It's good. When I started my company, I put on the founder hat. I think most everyone in this room has put on a founder hat. And this one stays on. Whether you're at the office or at vacation or you're sleeping, it'll test you and your relationships. It'll test your sense of self. But this is where grit comes in. Angela Duckworth, a psychologist, defined grit as the passion and perseverance for your long-term goals. And in her 2007 study, she found that grit outperformed both IQ and talent for predictors of success. And this makes sense on an intuitive level, because grit keeps you in the game, even though talent might open the doors. You don't have to be Steve Hawkins. You just can't quit. And every coaching program is going to tell you the same thing. Don't quit. And they're going to ask you the same thing. What is your why? Joe will probably ask you that. Or your coach will probably ask you that. What is your why? Because your why is what's left when you've burned through the midnight oil, when you realize you don't know a thing about accounting, but your taxes are due tomorrow, or you've been on hold with an insurance agent for 45 minutes only for them to transfer the call, for them to drop the call. Oh, yeah. Or when you're obsessing about, okay, should this email address my team as valued therapists or company or BC team? Or I'll just write them all individual emails. It's what's left after you get hit with that sinking feeling that any moment they're all going to wake up and realize you don't know what you're doing. Because seriously, who wants to work for this DIY project you call a group practice? But that why brings you back to the key, which is keep going. Just do it. Don't quit. And some of the whys in this room, I challenge you. Tonight, meet somebody new and ask them about their why. Because what you hear might blow you away. Because let's face it, we all could have been in the tech industry. We could have been driving much nicer cars, but we're not. We're here. We chose to show up for a reason. And if you're thinking, I don't know if I'm cut out for this, you are, because grit isn't some superhuman ability. It's a choice. It's a muscle you flex every time you show up, pull through, and you keep believing in what you're building. And that grit's going to pay off. Ask Duckworth. It's science. And one more thing, my advice from me to you is be authentic. Be a real person. Are you a person? I knew it. Yes, maybe. Be real. The mask isn't fooling anyone. You know, everybody in this room is professionally trained to see through your mask, so just take it off. Be a human, trust yourself, and jump in. Thank you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us and listening to our speakers from the Group Practice Conference 2025. We are so excited to have you join us there. Make sure you put on your calendars Black Friday. That's when tickets open up. We want to make sure that you grab that ticket right away. We are so excited to be hosting this here in Traverse City.
We couldn't do this show without our sponsors, and Thrizer is our sponsor for today's episode. You know, if you're doing private pay and you are sick of super bills, you're sick of insurance calls, you're sick of reimbursements, any of that, I want to tell you all about Thrizer. Make sure you check them out because Thrizer is an amazing way to automate your claim submissions, manage claims end-to-end, and the best part is people can pay their copay for your sessions all within it. Head over to join.thrizer.com/Joe. Again, that's join.thrizer.com/Joe. And they're going to waive the first $2,500 in credit card fees. So it's awesome. Use promo code POTP for the free trial. Again, that's join.thrizer.com/Joe. Thank you so much for letting me into your ears and into your brain. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
Special thanks to the band Silence is Sexy for that intro music, and this podcast is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information in regard to the subject matter covered. It is given with the understanding that neither the host, the producers, the publishers, or guests are rendering legal, accounting, clinical, or other professional information. If you want a professional, you should find one.